Hey everyone, welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Today we're going to be talking about something that might take a little longer than I would want for a video of this nature, but hang in there with me because this is more of a technical discussion, because I saw a conversation going on one of the threads from my last video with some people saying, they would like to see this Batman game in Unreal Engine 5, and some people talking about all that stuff. And it was quite interesting to see, because there were some misconceptions as well, like what, Batman games were actually developed on and so forth. So what I decided to do was just kind of put, a few things in our perspective as Batman fans so that we will know what game engine the last Batman game was developed on, and then the potential of the next Batman game actually being in Unreal Engine 5. So here it is. This question on Quora is a question that somebody asked, says, why was Batman Arkham Knight developed with Unreal Engine 3 instead of Unreal Engine 4? So the question already gives us the hint, or even the fact, that Batman Arkham Knight was developed in Unreal Engine 3. Now, shocking as they may be, or as that may sound to most people, the game looks very good for a game that was done in Unreal Engine 3, which is basically a hats off to the developers at Rocksteady and the developers or the creators at Epic Games for even making that engine. It's amazing. But the truth be told, I think I may have covered something along the lines of this regarding a Superman video. If you've not seen it, just check through my library. I'll put a link for you. And this answer is the best answer. It was given in 2008 by a gentleman that's a video game technical designer, Mike Prinka, I think that's the name. And if you want to read this answer, I guess I can link this for you. But basically, he said they had started building Batman Arkham Knight on Unreal Engine 3, while Unreal Engine 4 was basically in somewhat of an alpha state. I've read this reply so much. Like, I come here all the time. And he said there, he says it was probably in a late alpha version. And that time, 2012, there was no way that Warner Brothers would have told them to actually move their games from Unreal Engine 3 development to Unreal Engine 4, because back then, the way both engines worked, they were so different. That's why, if you guys notice, at the Epic Games, Unreal Engine 5 showcase, they made it a point to mention that you can just move your development from Unreal Engine 4 directly into Unreal Engine 5, and developers shed tears, because I bet you there were developers who had already gone like maybe 3-4 years into a project using UE3, and then they said, well, you Unreal Engine 4 is actually ready, and they were like, we're not moving to Unreal Engine 4 even if it's very good, because that will be very expensive, and they weren't willing to do it. Now, this brings me to the conversation of if the next Batman game, or if the new Batman game, or if the rumored Batman game will be developed in Unreal Engine 5. And the question is, it's highly unlikely that it will be developed in Unreal Engine 5, but it is also likely that it can be done in Unreal Engine 5 if they started its development using Unreal Engine 4 as one of the major engines. Now, I also have to say this as a caveat. The way engines work, they require tools as well to work with them. Consider a game engine as a major or a bunch of major components of a vehicle. But at the end of the day, you're still going to need other components like wheels, like, turn lights and electrical working within everything. There are tools that are external that can do those things and work in conjunction with an engine. So if there are tools that they've been using to develop their games that work or with the engine that they're using, be it Unreal Engine 4 or Unreal Engine 3, they probably will make sure that those tools are compatible with Unreal Engine 5. So Epic Games would have had to develop support for multiple tools that are being used in game development to be compatible so that they can just make that move. And if they even make that move, then they have to make sure that it's also something that will provide enough fidelity, for them to be able to do that. Now, unless Epic Games had already given a lot of these development firms a beta or alpha version of this to test out and see if their games will be able to run and compile in them, then they possibly don't really know and may just kind of shelve Unreal Engine 5 for now, or they might be making their PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X versions using the Unreal Engine 5 to enhance its graphics and do a lot more visual presentation for it. That's another aspect. Then I think the final aspect we have to consider is, if you look at the way a lot of these games have been taking so long, these Batman games and Warner Brothers games, I think Warner Brothers may have been doing some work to build their own engine, because at the end of the day, that saves you money as a publisher. And let me tell you the reason why. So they canceled and scrapped a lot of these Batman games. I don't know, maybe because of the concept. I don't know, maybe because they didn't think it was going to sell. Who knows? They canceled a whole bunch of Superman pitches. But at the same time, the rumor was that the Arkham engine was not going to work with a Superman game. But go back and look. The Arkham engine was basically Unreal Engine. I mean, that was the main aspect of the engine, and maybe the engine could not support the flying that they wanted. I doubt it. I think Unreal Engine 3 was strong enough to do it, but maybe it was going to be expensive. But Unreal Engine 4 can definitely support the flying mechanics that make very good looking flying happening. There's a free project called Undefeated on Steam. Download it. It's basically a Superman game, and you'll see some really good flying in Unreal Engine 4. It's not even a matter of, if or if not. Unreal Engine 4 can do it and has been proven to do it. And this was a project done by kids in a video game development school in Japan by a bunch of students. Then the next side is maybe Warner Brothers has taken all this time to invest in their own game engine, because if you look at another company that they publish for, CD Projekt Red has its own development engine. So when they've been developing Cyberpunk 2077 on their engine, they developed The Witcher 3 on their engine. And so basically a huge portion of the profits actually is going to be going to them. If you look at another company that's made another very popular game, but was kind of infamous for being exclusive to Epic Games for a timed period, and that's Metro Exodus. This is done by the development team called 4A, I think. That's a development firm. They also use their engine called the 4A engine. Many studios are looking into that possibility, but that's why, because, it's not much more feasible to build your game engine. That's why you see Unreal Engine 5 appealing so much to the developers. You can now get free, the engine is free up to $1 million in sales. I mean, that is a huge pot to leave on the table by Epic Games, but they want to dissuade people from trying to go develop their own engines. Because it's like, I'll give you $1 million, if you use my engine. Like, I'll leave you to take your $1 million and all the profits that come from that $1 million based on my engine. I mean, think about the amount of marketing that can go on that many people did not necessarily figure out when they were making these pronouncements. I mean, $1 million might be an indie studio's lifeline to get into the business, break into the market, or survive for just another year until they publish their game and put it out in the market. It might even, maybe it is a company that's going, we're probably not going to have any money when we're done with this project, and they hear that Unreal Engine 5 is going to be providing, the possibility of them getting a free $1 million, and they decide, let's just stretch it out, stay open, and publish this game, and we know we're going to be reaping the benefits of, our work up to about $1 million. Perhaps that's going to work for them. So these are probably my own theories based on the data, based on some of the evidence that we've seen out there. Possibly it's going to be on Unreal Engine 5. We don't know. But I think if they're using Unreal Engine 4 or if they're using their own engine, then this is going to complicate things a little bit. They're using their engine, then we probably will not see it on Unreal, but they've used Unreal so much. Unreal does such a good job with the Arkham style comic fighting, everything that you can put in it. And so I think, man, it's basically the way to go, man. I mean, I think Unreal Engine Epic Games has just basically set the tone for, what the future of gaming will start to look like very soon. And so that's basically the end of my video. I appreciate you guys for watching it. I have so much more to even try to add to this discussion, but I guess we can section it for another video. So just as respectful of your time. And I guess I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you so much. Peace.